Danny, are we gonna get cancelled again? Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome back to another brand new episode of Business Blaze. I am your boy with the blaze. This one is all, this is a part 5. As I always say, when we do like a part 2, 3, 4, 5, 17, it's when I'm feeling lazy. I just look at what videos worked in the past and I'm like, Danny, let's do that again because it's gonna work and then I don't have to come up with unique original material and actually be creative, which honestly I'm not very good at and hate. This video is brought to you by This video is brought to you by Squarespace. Speaking of creativity, one thing I did create is the megaprojects.net website with Squarespace. If you'd like, Squarespace, you can make websites on it if you didn't know. There's lots of good reasons for it, which I'm going to tell you about later in the video. But if you go to squarespace.com/blaze, you'll get 10% off your first purchase. Sounds pretty good. I think I'll give that a mwah! What happens here if you're new, if you're wondering? Look, no one's new because... fascinatingly on Business Blaze, most people who watch this are subscribed. On all my other channels, it's like, no, 80% of people who watch aren't subscribed. They're just very casual viewers who don't care about you. On Business Blaze, you legends smash that subscribe button with a passion. This is what happens. Danny writes a script, I record it, I add some jokes, and Sam adds some fine vintage memes. It's something that probably happens millions of times every day. I feel like I haven't recorded one of these in like a week. It feels weird. It's something probably happens millions of times every day. Someone out there is probably doing it right now, taking a shit. You may have done it yourself thousands of times during your life. Yeah, once a day. Yeah, or easily. Many thousands. And it's a completely pointless waste of energy and wiggling about. Oh, Danny might be talking about something else. Imagine you're holding a crucial conversation on your mobile phone with a potential investor from Hong Kong. Yeah, that happens all the time. Or maybe you're attempting to order an equally crucial Doner lunchtime kebab special from the local takeaway. Maybe you're doing both. Maybe you're on the phone with Hong Kong while ordering that kebab. You could do both, Danny. As the conversation reaches a pivotal moment, you turn a corner into a fresh stretch of honeycombed woodlands. What is going on? What is honeycombed woodlands? Or a higher level of majestic mountain, or a darker recess of a dodgy alley, only to find that the mobile phone is beginning to lose its signal. How would you go about trying to get it back? Higher grounds, I guess. I was hiking the other day, a couple of weeks ago, and I was in the woods and I didn't have any mobile reception, and I was like, and I wanted to load the map because the map I had on my phone, for some reason I hadn't downloaded the offline map version, so I was like, if I can get reception, I can download the map and actually work out where I'm going and hopefully not get lost and die. And so I climb up this mountain and I get to the top and I'm like, please, and it still doesn't work, so I have to go back the same way, like hours back the same way I came. You know, it's disappointing.
That's the coolest fucking story I've ever heard in my entire life. That's insane. Can I hear it again?
Many of us seem to have instinctively adopted the cunning strategy of lifting the phone and furiously waggling about in the air for a bit. I mean, that's not going to make a difference, is it? I mean, climbing a mountain, I feel like I'm being pretty reasonable, but lifting it up in the air, I not turn it off, turn it on again, like the airplane mode on, airplane mode off. That sometimes works. And many of us end up feeling quite disappointed. I lost my place while reading a sentence. That this hasn't helped the phone magically latch onto a better signal, but it won't stop us from doing it again next time. The point is that contrary to our instincts and blind desperation, elevating your device very slightly higher in the air isn't suddenly going to change how your phone connects with the nearest cell site or tower. If anything, holding it in the air and waggling about a bit is only likely to make it even harder for the phone to make that vital connection. Well, today you found out your phone has probably lost its signal because of an obstruction, such as a concrete block of apartments or dense foliage, or a branch of Taco Bell between your current location and the nearest cell tower. Why is Taco Bell mentioned here? New viewers ask. Well, I'll tell you what, it's been sprinkled with a little bit of an in-joke, like this. Or it could be because you're picking up interference, which is making the device feel a bit dizzy. Either way, your best bet is to just keep walking until you can pick up a signal again. Walking forwards or backwards, or even just a few feet, is going to be far more productive than standing still for 5 minutes while you thrash your arms about like a buffoon. Alternatively, you could try nuking all the buildings in your current location, investing in a signal booster, or even changing your provider if the problem keeps recurring. Yeah, I mean, don't nuke the buildings, but changing your provider does make a difference. Sometimes there's like places I go where it's like, I won't have any signal on one network, but then my wife is on a different network, which would be like, yeah, I got 5G. It's like, what the Vodafone? Get your together. There is a beefy looking dog taking a whiz on my window. Thanks, guy. Brilliant. For those of you who don't know, I'm in like a semi-submerged basement, so the windows are like up there, and the dogs like walk past it, and yeah, they pee on it, and then one dog pees on it, and all the dogs pee on it, because dogs are like, I don't know. They like pissing on each other's piss and smelling each other's butts. I'm not a dog, don't ask me. And while we're busting common myths on the use of the mobile phone, it's worth remembering that those signal bars at the top of your screen are not an accurate representation of your signal strength. They aren't? I've lost count of the number of times I've heard people complaining that I've only got 1 bar, and someone else replying, "Haha, I've got 5 bars on mine!" Dickhead. They may as well be comparing 1 banana to 5 parsnips. Alright, Danny. The signal bars are actually just an aesthetic representation of your phone's proximity to the nearest cell site, and this will vary from model to model. So the guy with 1 bar could in theory be getting a stronger signal than the guy with 5 bars. Well, hang on. If you're closer to the cells, everyone who knows anything about technology is going to be in the comments. "Oh, Simon, you're so dumb. You didn't know this." Why, if I'm closer to the cell tower, surely I should get better reception? People will be like, obviously not. It's an almost useless graphic anyway, as the strength of your signal will be far more affected by how many other phones are trying to latch onto the same signal, rather than how close you happen to be to the tower, okay? And while we're at it, so I should really go with a mobile phone network that no one else subscribes to, because then I'll have great signal everywhere. But then it'll be a good mobile phone service and more people will sign up and it'll become shit. This is so confusing. I'm just gonna stick. I don't even know who my mobile phone provider is. I think it's Vodafone, but it could be O2. And while we're at it, charging your phone overnight will definitely not harm your battery. Using your phone at a petrol station is not a fire hazard, and placing your phone into a bowl of rice will not suddenly make it work again after you've accidentally dropped the phone down the toilet. I knew the first one, because they've got technology that just like semi-charges it, right? Like, so when it's almost full, they'll stop, and then, I don't know, it tells me this. The one in the petrol station is just stupid. And the one on the phone, I thought the one about putting the phone in the bowl of rice was so like if you dropped it in water, then the rice absorbs so it dries it out. But I guess not. As for where the 5G is spreading coronavirus around the globe, Mad Melvin down the pub insists to me that this is definitely true. Everyone knows this is true, Danny. Have you not seen videos on YouTube where surprisingly credible looking people who are actually completely bonkers and somehow manage to keep their together for a YouTube video actually trick people into believing this? It's really depressing. But he also insists that he's seen the blooper reels from the fake moon landings in which Neil Armstrong keeps falling into the scenery. So I take everything he says with a vacuum-sealed pouch of liquid salt. Still, that's at least 5 fake facts that aren't true right there, and we've barely even gotten started. Yeah, in a normal YouTube video, we'd be done there. We'd be like, thanks for the facts, fact boy. Let's move on to something else that's recommended, and I mean, it's probably something by me, because I open up Business Plays in incognito, and I'm like, wow, all the recommended videos are Business Plays. I don't know how I did this, but I'm very happy about it. Rosa Parks. Oh, let's play the game. Do I know whether this is true or not? Rosa Parks was arrested for sitting on a whites-only bus seat. I know that's false because I made a biographies video all about it. Biographies is another channel I run where we do biographies of notable people from history. If you like this channel, I mean, you might like that channel. It's very different. It's much more sensible. It's less fueled by cocaine. There are actually several misconceptions relating to the famous story of Rosa Parks, who would hop on a bus on the 1st of December 1955 and ends up helping to steer the 20th century into a more righteous route. In your opinion, Danny, in your opinion, the KKK begged to do. Here's how the story is often told. Just want to clarify that was a joke. At around 6 p.m., it's 2020. People are like, cancel Simon, he's a racist, he believes in the KKK. I mean, obviously I believe in the KKK. He loves the KKK. He loves it! Here's how the story is often told. At around 6 p.m. on the night of in 1955, an exhausted Rosa Parks climbed aboard the number 2587 bus after clocking off from her job as a seamstress at the Montgomery Fair department store. The buses in Montgomery at the time offered a strict segregated service in which black passengers were relegated to the very back of the bus. The past was great. Well, someone was arguing with me on Twitter the other day. I said something like, the past is the worst, just be glad you're alive. And someone was like, well, Simon, have you not seen the state of the world today? There's COVID everywhere. There's rampant racism. Are you sure you wouldn't rather live? And I think somehow the date 1848 specifically came up, which is also the year that Europe basically exploded into a series of wars. And it's like, and revolutions. And I was like, yeah, obviously, this sucks. No one likes coronavirus. No one likes racism. It's all bullshit. But you know what was worse in the past? Diseases and racism. You don't want to go to the past. You're gonna get plague and shit. Stop it with your bullshit.
Daddy, chill.
But there were no seats available at the back, so a weary Rosa Parks decided to sit on a whites-only seat near the front and then refused to budge on the grounds that she was too tired when the bus driver ordered her to give up her seat for a standing white male. Rosa Parks ended up becoming the first black person to be arrested for refusing to give up her seat on a segregated bus, which directly led to the abolition of the balmy bus segregation laws and the rising of the civil rights movement. Now, obviously, if you didn't already guess, it's a lot more complicated than that. Much of the story is broadly true. Yes, but it's more complicated. But there are 4 important details which are completely wrong. For starters, Rosa didn't actually sit on a whites-only seat, although this is more a technical point as the outcome was still the same. Each Montgomery bus had 36 seats. The first 10 at the front were reserved for whites, the last 10 at the back were reserved for blacks, and the middle 16 were theoretically up for grabs by anyone, although black and white passengers should never be sat together, and the whites would be given priority as the bus started to fill up. When Rosa took her seat in the middle of that day, it wasn't an intentional act of defiance. She was just taking her seat in the mixed section during a quiet period alongside 2 other black women and a black man. When the bus became busier, a white passenger was left standing, which prompted the driver, James Blake, who is one of history's biggest dickheads. And if you'd like to know more about that dickhead, do check out that biographics video because this guy is a world-class prick. He demanded that the 4 black passengers give up their seats. The other 3 agreed, but Rosa simply moved up 3 spaces to the window seat, which would have left ample room for the white passenger. This wasn't good enough for the bell-end bus driver, who called the police to have Rosa arrested. But in fact, Rosa Parks didn't defy the driver on the grounds that her aching feet were too tired. She did it because she'd had enough. Yeah, Rosa Parks, you think like she didn't do it because she was tired. No, she did it because she was part of like a movement. Like, you think Rosa Parks is a hero, she's actually more of a hero than you think. In her autobiography, she wrote, "I was not tired physically, or no more tired than I usually was at the end of the working day. I was not old, although some people have an image of me being old then. I was 42. No, the only tired I was tired of giving in." Rosa Parks had been active in the civil rights movement since 1943, and may have even had leanings towards communism. Although she was never officially recorded as a member, she regularly attended meetings with the Communist Party USA. But she certainly wasn't the first black passenger to be arrested for refusing to give up her seat. There had been several other cases beforehand, most significantly that including 15-year-old Claudette Colvin. And it was actually Claudette's case, along with 3 other plaintiffs, which directly led to the 1956 lawsuit, which resulted in the district court ruling that bus segregation was unconstitutional under the Equal Protection Clause of the 14th Amendment to the US Constitution. The decision may, however, have been helped along by the Montgomery bus boycott, which emerged in the wake of Rosa Parks' case. Whatever the specific details, though, there's no denying that Rosa Parks became an international icon of resistance to racial segregation, the First Lady of Civil Rights, and the mother of the freedom movement. It may have never happened at all there's even more to it than that, which I'm not going to get into here because also I only half remember it, and I do have a whole video about it. But it's not as blazy. Sometimes I wonder, and people are like, "Simon, will you just do one biographics video in the business play style for a laugh?" And I'm like, no, because most people on that channel will hate it. I mean, don't forget, you guys are the legend blazers, but most people will be like, "What the is this? Why is this happening?" Simon! Tell me the facts, boy! It may never have happened at all if she'd clocked the driver's face before boarding the bus. Rosa had already been kicked off the bus before by James Blake for failing to abide by the rules, and she would never have gotten on the bus in the first place if she'd been aware that Blake was behind the wheel. When Blake died in 2002, Rosa Parks quite charitably remarked, "I'm sure his family will miss him." And then she added, "That dickhead." Although he did, he was the kind of pinnacle of dickheadedness, which kicked this whole thing off. So I guess, thanks, James. You bellend. Oh, let me tell you about Squarespace. It's time. Look, I know you guys come here as much for the ad reads as you do for the content. That's a lie. But stick with me, because Squarespace, look, I've done so many of these Squarespace ads. I think they said I got to mention a couple of new things, which I will mention as well. Don't worry. But let me tell you about the basics. Squarespace is a place you can build a website. Look, I've done it. I did it with megaprojects.net, which, what you do on Squarespace is you go in, there are a bunch of templates, they have cool names, they look even cooler. You choose one, and you're like, yeah, I'd like my website to vaguely look like that, because it looked like it wasn't designed by an idiot like me, because if I made a website, it would be hideous. You just click on it, and then it's like, what do you want to put on there? And I'm like, some posts, maybe. And they're like, you want to put posts on? Yeah, sure. And then I just copied and pasted some mega project scripts into there. I changed some text around so it doesn't look like I've just copied and pasted it in, you know, so it's like, check out our other video. It'd be like, check out our other article. I'm like, big brain. And then you throw it all in. You throw in some pictures, which you just can copy and paste and upload. It's really super easy and it looks good. You can check it out. I think I have to put a link to Squarespace below, but if you go to megaprojects.net, you'll be able to see it. Oh, also, I should mention they have support. So if you get stuck, because you're an idiot or something, I mean, it's very, you know... I just imagine Squarespace support isn't super busy because it is very like, okay, click here to do this. Click here to do this. Are you confused? No, I know how to click. Okay, so there are some extra things, which I haven't mentioned before. How very exciting. You can have Squarespace member areas. Ooh, that sounds special. Gated, members-only content. I didn't know that stuff. People like Simon, put some extra stuff on a Patreon. Make a secret thing for us. And I'm like, it's that, I don't know, I like making all my stuff free so everyone can watch it. And the ads pay for it. I make enough money. It's all good. Oh, I should be selling this. Yeah, but definitely do that if you're not me. Sorry, Squarespace. Maybe there's a reason you need this. Email campaigns. Grow and engage your audience with Squarespace email campaigns. I didn't even know you could do that. I pay like $100 a month for an email campaign thing. I'm going to cancel that after doing this. Collect donations. Oh, okay, that's cool. You can collect donations for your cause. PayPal, Apple Pay, Stripe, Venmo. Never use Venmo. We don't have Venmo over in Europe yet. I guess that's good. I hear people talking about it a lot, like Venmo me some money. I'm like, bro, no. How? I can't. I wouldn't want to, even if I could. Analytics, obviously. Social sharing, obviously. Blogging tools, obviously. I'm not going to expand on any of those because you guys know what they are. This is Squarespace. You can get 10% off a website or a domain if you go to squarespace.com/blaze and set up a website. Let me just check that I got that right because that's the bit I have to get. Head to squarespace.com for a free trial, and when you're ready to launch, go to squarespace.com/blaze to save 10% off your first purchase of a website or domain. Let's get back into it. Squarespace. Mwah! Eskimos have 99 words for snow. No, they don't. I always had it was like 20, but I think I did a Today I Found Out video saying that it's not even true. Spoiler alert. I was always told as a kid the reasons Eskimos have so many words for snow is because they don't have much else to talk about. That sounds vaguely racist. But going by that logic, they'd also have about 99 words for seal meat. Many people have perpetuated the myth over the years that Eskimos have either 50, 99, or 400 different words for snow. And it would seem remarkable if these indigenous circumpolar people, it's a new word for me, I love it when I just discover new words that, you know, not just Daddy, but any one of my script writers throws into a script and it's like, wow, that's a new word to me. And it seems you just used it in common usage. And then I remember that I'm dumb. And it would seem remarkable if these indigenous circumpolar people have more words for frozen water than Donald Trump has in his entire vocabulary. Oh, smash that dislike button. Incidentally, I know that Eskimo now seems to be regarded as a derogatory term in North America. It does, particularly in Canada. I didn't know that. Danny, are we going to get cancelled again? But that's a whole complicated can of blubber that is probably best not to open here. In most parts of the world, it still seems perfectly acceptable to use Eskimo as a collective term to describe the Inuit, Yupik, and the Aleut people. But how many words do they really have for snow? Well, the answer could be about 4, or it could be thousands and thousands. Oh, so it's more complicated than it seems to be on the surface. What a surprise. I feel this is life. Always remember it's more complicated than it seems on the surface. Except for Donald Trump's vocabulary, that's just limited, so we know it. Back in the 1940s, the American linguist Benjamin Whorf tried to explain how Eskimos have more words for snow, basically because they're capable of thinking about snow in some ways the rest of the world can't even begin to comprehend. I tell you what, Danny, I could try and comprehend it, couldn't I? They'd be like, yeah, it's like flaky, it's like misty, it's soft, it's hard. I mean, just describe it to me and I'll get it. It's not like there's going to be some mysterious property of snow that I just can't wrap my head around. It's not like, there's 11 dimensions. I tried watching a video about that and I was like, oh, fuck, this really is for smart people. It's like they get into like dimension 6 and it's like, what the f***? This dimension is based on another dimension within a dimension. It's like, stop! Many of Whorf's theories on the structures of languages have been dismissed as complete tosh. But the Eskimo thing appeared to snowball in popularity in later years when the 1978 Lanford Wilson play, The 5th of July, observed that Eskimos have exactly 50 words for snow, while a later article in the New York Times claims the number was 100. Yeah, but we know it can never be exactly, because there'll be like, new words for stuff. Language evolves. The first thing to bear in mind is that there's no single Eskimo language. All right, then I guess we're done. There are actually multiple dialects of a variety of languages among the Inuit, Yupik, and Aleut. I'm sorry if I'm not pronouncing this right. I know I could look it up. I'm just not going to. But more significant is the fact that the family of languages is rooted in polysynthesis. Another new word for me. This essentially means that they construct complex words out of a relatively small collection of base words. Or to put it another way, they add a word to a suffix to create a whole new word. Oh, shit. So instead of expressing wet snow or packed snow as separate words, they will effectively create new single words by mashing them together as wet snow one word or packed snow as one word. Isn't this like what the Germans do? Like why they have such crazy names? Because it's just like, I could say like New York Times, it could just be New York Times, just as one word. Like they pack all the words together into one super turbo word. Or you might say, and get ready for a Uber word. I've just realized it may be challenging for Simon to convey in a video, but I'm sure he'll give it his best shot. It's not that complicated, Danny. I just say pack snow, one word. Maybe this is why you cannot grasp the complexities of Eskimo snow, but I'm like, I understand. Packed snow. Snow that's packed together. Densely packed. Not complicated. Big brain. Some Eskimos really have no more base words for snow than the rest of the world. It's just that they create thousands of regularly used variants by combining words to create new ones. And you could just as easily claim that Eskimos have an almost infinite amount of words for warts, milkshakes, and kangaroos. Their dictionaries must be a bloody nightmare to compile. Even the regular dictionaries are bloody nightmare to compile. I did like a Today I Found Out video about that Oxford dictionary. Oh my god, that's complicated. It takes them like decades to make a new edition. And I'm like, just use Wiktionary. Wiktionary? Wiktionary. Having said all that, there may be some truth in the claim that British people have over 99 words for rain, Colombians have 400 words for cocaine, and I have 857 words for radiator. An epic Christmas truce game of football was played in no man's land in 1914. In the days, I thought this was true. I feel like there is some truth to this. If it wasn't football, they were definitely hanging out and trading items and buttons and getting each other's haircuts, the Germans and the Allies in the trenches. In the days leading up to Christmas 1914, something happened on the Western Front of the First World War which would never happen again. It was quite a vivid display of the expression, sod this for a game of soldiers. I like that expression. I'm not sure if it's just British, but it means this, I'm not doing it anymore. In a beautiful motion, the opposing German and British forces laid down their weapons for an Xmas holiday and exchanged gifts and photographs and songs instead of trying to kill each other. Some of the soldiers on both sides looked a bit like Paul McCartney. Okay. But that might be because I'm thinking of his video for the 1983 Christmas UK chart topper, Pipes of Peace, which depicted the glorious moments when the troops paused to shake hands and wish their enemies the compliments of the season. But Danny, that happened many years. I'm so confused. Paul McCartney a time traveler? It's a story which has been recounted many times over the years in film, television, and the Today I Found Out YouTube channel. Not really. Big budget Christmas adverts for Sainsbury's. What a thrill. I don't miss adverts. Like TV, I don't watch TV. Obviously I watch TV. Like I watch Netflix, Amazon Prime. There's no adverts. But I'll go visit my parents, sometimes for Christmas, and they're still watching TV. They still got Sky. It's like, what are you doing? And then you see adverts like mince pies, and I'm like, this is a blast from the past, even though this advert is made this year. It's like, who does this anymore? It's 2020, stop it! And also, when people stop wasting money on those ads, guess where they're gonna spend that money? Your boy. Look, Sainsbury's, I like you. You need a spokesman? I'll tell people how great your mince pies are. Just don't heat them up in the microwave too long, because once I did that, and destroyed my mouth. And the climax of the story is an epic 90-minute game of football played between the British and German soldiers in no man's land on Christmas Day 1914. The Germans apparently won the match 3-2. But while the Christmas truce was on, that is way too specific. They didn't play 90 minutes. They just had a kickabout. But while the Christmas truce was undoubtedly true, there's no direct evidence to suggest that such a football match ever really took place, no matter how much we'd love to believe this heartwarming story. Over the years, we've been led to believe accounts of such an epic match taking place from a series of letters written by soldiers and people on the front line. But the majority of these letters were actually just second-hand accounts of a match rumored to be taking place elsewhere. One notable letter from a doctor is often brought up as compelling evidence that the match really happened, but he was actually just reporting something he'd heard from somebody else. One British officer doctor by the name of Peter Jackson. Not that Peter Jackson. Claimed for years that he'd taken part in the big match, but he eventually revealed in 1968 that he'd just fabricated the whole story. Well, you're not the only storytelling Peter Jackson, are you? Although I guess that's a relatively common name because there's lots of people called Peter, like my plant right there, and also people called Jackson. Other soldiers wrote home about matches that had been proposed but never actually happened because nobody could find a football. Yeah, you're in a war. You're in the trenches. Someone's probably eaten the leather off that football at some point. And in fact, they weren't were they hungry in the trenches? I don't know. It just seemed miserable, so I assume they were hungry. And in fact, this is quite an important point to take on board. Why in no man's land was anyone going to find a half-decent football? I'm pretty sure that things like beach balls and swing ball and tennis rackets weren't generally considered standard military issue. Another point to bear in mind is that no man's land was an utterly frozen mess on the day in question, littered with dead bodies and shells. The best anyone could have managed is a slightly morbid session of ice skating, assuming that someone had actually remembered to pack the skates. It's very possible that small impromptu games of football broke out across the Western Front for a few minutes at a time, with the soldiers kicking about empty tins of corned beef as a football substitute. That sounds miserable. This. I'll bring it up again, but COVID's bad and all that shit, and like the economy is entering the toilet or whatever, and it's like, it's bad times. It's like, honestly, I'm just glad there's not a war. I was having a phone call with my dad the other day. He was like, yeah, I mean, because he just retired like a few years ago. And it's like, him and my stepmom, they like want to travel around and do all these things. And he's like, yeah, I know, it's kind of rough because, you work all your life. And then he's like, yeah, now I want to go travel, see the world, do all these exciting things. And it's like, yeah, I'm just kind of stuck at home. And I'm like, yeah, that's a bummer. But he's like, well, on the bright side, he's like, 65? Yeah, he just turned 65. So he's like, yeah, but on the bright side, I'm 65. Now, there's been no war. There's been no big genocides that, he's been involved in. I mean, not as an aggressor, but, a victim of. Obviously. He's like, yeah, no, it's been a pretty good run in terms of, no major global disaster having to go fight in a war because everyone else throughout history had to do that shit. And I was like, that's a really nice attitude, Dad. What a heartwarming story. Let's move on so we can do some more on things. But the muddy truth is that the legendary football game on Christmas Day, with halftime oranges and radio commentary, very probably didn't happen at all. I thought halftime oranges was a rugby thing, and we can largely blame the extended truce sequences in the 1963 stage show Oh What a Lovely War for bringing the myth back into the public consciousness after the idea had been largely forgotten for decades. Besides, I find the 3-2 storyline very hard to believe. I've no idea where they could have found a neutral Swiss referee at such short notice. Ba-da-bum-bum. Every living creature is doomed to die. Well, I mean, eventually. Because, not much is going to survive, what do they call it? The heat death of the universe. Whereas, all of the energy is gradually expanded and everything is just evened out. There's not going to be much living after that. To wrap things up on a positive note, it turns out that the secret to immortality was uncovered long ago, but it didn't generate as much news coverage as I would have expected. Isn't this to do with the jellyfish, the immortal jellyfish or something like that? While scientists and alchemists and wizards and nutters may have spent centuries attempting to discover the elixir of life, and I think the closest thing we've ever got was wonderful pomegranate juice. The real secret to eternal life has been bobbing about in the bottom of the ocean for ages. I really think, and this is a very depressing thought, for me at least, because I would like to live a very long time. I think we're going to be considered some of the most unfortunate people, the people who are alive today, probably some of the most unfortunate people to have ever lived, because given how far, medical technology, biology, and just regular technology is going, how fast that's getting better, I really do think that the people alive from 100 years from now, who literally might have the option to live forever, are going to look back at us and be like, those guys just missed it. You look back on people like the fucking Tudors or whatever, 15th century, they were long gone. They had no shot. And it's we can see it. We're like, no, okay. I can theoretically see how we could live forever, whether that's downloading our consciousness into a machine, improving our biology, sorting out DNA all of that sciencey shit. It's okay, I can see it. You can reasonably see how it could happen, right? No one has been able to do that before. And we're all going to be dead before it's possible. I hope not, but Just one creature on planet Earth has so far managed to figure out how to live forever, barring accidents, and it's a jellyfish. Big brain. although the trick is to regress to childhood. When faced with a dire emergency, the immortal jellyfish quite cleverly reverts back to a baby. It turns itself into a blob-like cyst, which then transforms into a polyp colony, the very first stage of jellyfish life, and then effectively starts life all over again. Curiously, this Benjamin Button of the sea world isn't invincible. It can still catch fatal disease, or get eaten by a predator, or get mowed down by a tractor, in which case it's game over. Benjamin Button. I've seen that movie. It's weird, right? Why is that movie the only reason people remember it is because it's weird. Is it even good? But assuming that it exercises a bit of caution and sticks to a healthy diet, there's nothing stopping the something scientific named, which I'm not going to even try and pronounce, from just repeating the cycle over and over again until the Earth is absorbed by the sun in 7.5 billion years. See, Danny, it's doomed to die ultimately. If the species could only figure out space travel, the same jellyfish could be laughing until the very end of time. Interesting. Yeah, the end of time, Danny. Eventually, it's going to end. Interestingly, the scientifically named jellyfish has recently been described as an excellent hitchhiker, scrounging lifts on boats and ships in what has been described as an aggressive swarming of the world's oceans. So the immortal jellyfish may just be patiently waiting to thumb a lift from mankind into the stars, after which the human race will have fulfilled its destiny of sending eternal life out into space. Except that it doesn't have any thumbs. Oh no! This has been Business Blaze. I have been your boy, Wiz the Blaze. Smash the dislike button if you didn't like this video or I said something to offend you. It's always possible. You can purchase this at purchasethemerch.co. There's not a link below because linked below is today's sponsor, Squarespace. 10% off, squarespace.com/blaze. Thank you for watching. Tell me the facts, boy!